Hi there. This is a small book haul in January. I think this is the last day of January, penultimate day of January. Yeah, so what am I going to be reading this month other than Proust? First of all, there is by David Markham. How do I do this there? Wittgenstein's Mistress has an afterword by David Foster Wallace. It is essentially a novel by a American modernist avant-garde writer. This one, Reader's Block, which I think I reviewed briefly a couple of months ago, which I think is a work of absolute genius. Um, this one is essentially about a woman who is convinced, I don't think there's any reason to think it's not the case, to be the only person in the world, um, only person left in the world. There are no animals and no human beings. There is just everything we left. I think it's written in the 1980s or 1990s. Um, it's simply a extraordinary meditation written in very short sort of paragraphs of what it is like to be the only person on the earth. And she spends a lot of time traveling the world, living in art galleries, and musing on various ideas. It is a philosophical novel, and it is very disturbing, incredibly crisply written, and I recommend it hugely. Um, yes, so if you're interested in avant-garde literature with a philosophical turn, and like the idea of reading a novel where there's only one person in the whole of the world, this one might be for you. Um, in no particular order, 1606, William Shakespeare in the Year of Lear by James Shapiro. His book, 1599, which was about the year that Shakespeare wrote Hamlet, was brilliant. Um, I've read a bit of this. It's less interesting. Don't know why. Um, um, but I love Lear. I read it a couple of years ago. Just the reading of it absolutely exhausted me. Um, but I kind of do like reading about Shakespeare's life. So little is known. It is somehow oddly intriguing. Um, then there is this, The Loney, by what's his name, Andrew Michael Hurley. It won the Costa First Novel Award, and everyone thought it was going to win the overall Costa Award. What intrigues me about this is it was printed by a very small press in the first instance. Only 300 copies were printed. And then after it was shortlisted for this prize, it then went on to become, a very good seller. I don't know who in fact published it the first time around. I should know. I mean, I think I did know. Yeah, Tartarus Press. Um, and in my pursuit of promoting and raising the profiles of small presses, I want. I'm going to read this. Incidentally, like A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing, as soon as there is any real volume sales, um, these presses have to go into business with other larger publishers in order to cope. John Murray in this case, Faber in the case of A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing, um, which means essentially they don't get the reward for discovering these people. The financial reward. The financial reward is incredibly important for small presses because they don't have any money. Um, so something needs to be done about that. Now we go on for three books that I got from my subscription to the great Fitzcarraldo editions. If you don't know Fitzcarraldo editions, in the last 18 months they published the two best works of fiction in years. Zone by Matthias Ennar and Pond by Claire Louise Bennett. But anyway, it's part of the subscription, and they do both fiction and non-fiction. And when it's non-fiction, it's kind of essays. So, Pretentiousness and Why It Matters by Dan Fox. I've always thought pretentiousness is important, and I hope to be told why when I read this. It's quite short, And Dan Fox is, what is he? I know what he is. I think he's an editor of an art magazine. Then we have, and I don't really know how to pronounce because this is a translation from um, the Spanish. So is it Nocia, Nocilla, Nocia, Dream by Augustin Fernandez Malo. I actually don't know anything about it, so I shall report back. But apparently he's terribly influential in Spain. And then we have an essay called Nicotine from Gregory Hens, which is essentially about smoking, I believe. Will Self did a good piece in the Guardian on this, and about his love of smoking. He vapes now, he doesn't smoke, but he likes to talk about smoking. And I completely understand. I haven't smoked now for longer than I did smoke, by like twice as long. I mean, I quit smoking about the age of 28. I'm now 50. But God, smoking was good. When I lived in New York for 2 years, from 25 to 27 or whatever, 20 or whatever, I was, that's all I did. I sat in bars drinking and smoking. And God, that was a nice life. Um, so yeah, smoking is a wonderful thing, other than it kills you, and we shouldn't do it. It kills other people as well. But I'll be interested in reading that. And then finally, a really nice Penguin edition. I don't really like saying anything nice about Penguin, but they have created these. I don't know what they're called, Penguin, Classics Deluxe editions. And this is Moby Dick, or The White Whale by Herman Melville. I just need to reread it. I keep coming across other books that discuss it enormously. Genoa by Paul Metcalf recently, which was one of my 5 top books of last year. But there's also a book of theology that I read a couple of years ago that quotes a lot about Moby Dick. And I remember when I read Moby Dick in my 20s, I didn't really get it. After the Proustathon and various other books, Moby Dick is going to be first on my list, but I probably won't get to it until the summer or something, so maybe it's holiday reading. Anyway, that's it. Slightly odd mix of things, but yeah, I hope you find one or two of them intriguing. Speak soon. Bye bye.